fatality!
Alright guys, we're looking ahead to UFC Fight Night 154. And in the main event, we're going to have an exciting featherweight bout with Renato Moicano taking on the Korean Zombie, Jung. Now, Renato Moicano is looking to bounce back off of a loss to former featherweight champion and MMA legend Jose Aldo. Korean Zombie is coming off a loss to Yair Rodriguez, a fight that he was winning from start to finish, but in the end got suckered into a brawl with Yair and got knocked out by one of the craziest moves I've seen in MMA, with Yair hitting him right on the chin with an upward elbow. This was a really devastating loss for Korean Zombie. But interesting about this fight is Renato Moicano ranks well above both Korean Zombie and Yair. So this is a huge opportunity for Zombie to get the win and completely take the sting off of that loss to Yair and put himself right back into title contention. Going into the height and reach, we have Renato Moicano coming in at 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. Korean Zombie's coming in at 5'7" with a 72-inch reach as well. However, we see Renato Moicano's leg reach at 42.5 inches, whereas Korean Zombie is 38 inches. So that leg reach can very well play a factor in this fight. Now, getting into their fighting styles, we have Renato Moicano, again, long and rangy for the division. Really good Muay Thai based striking. He's really good at using his range. Really good with the jab, really good with the leg kicks as well. He's also has a really fast hand speed and he's really explosive. So once his opponents come in and try to make contact with him, they often get hit with a crazy flurry. He's also has a really good size for the division as well. So he uses that with his ground game. He has some really good takedowns, and he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He does have some submission wins under his belt. Korean Zombie is a pressure fighter, and he relies a lot on his toughness. He has really heavy hands, a really good striking game overall, really explosive. As when he makes contacts with his opponents, he often unleashes with a flurry and overwhelms them. He has a good kicking game, really good with the leg kicks, and he's also a black belt in Judo and a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So he has a wicked ground game, really good submissions, and he's the first UFC fighter to ever pull off a twister submission in his fight with Leonard Garcia. Also in his last fight with Yair, he showed a really big improvement in his boxing. Now, getting into the fight itself, one thing that we've seen from Renato Moicano is he does tend to wilt under pressure. We saw that happen in the fight with Brian Ortega, a fight where he was completely dominating Ortega from the very start, up until Ortega, who was eating everything that Moicano was throwing at him, ended up getting a submission victory over him. We saw the same thing happen in the Jose Aldo fight, a fight where Renato Moicano was looking to use his range and methodically pick Jose Aldo apart. However, once Jose Aldo pulled the trigger and forced himself into the pocket, he unleashed a flurry on Moicano that Moicano wasn't able to take, and Jose Aldo ended up getting the TKO victory in that fight. Now, with Korean Zombie being a pressure fighter and being particularly tough, I see this fight playing well into Korean Zombie's favor here. Now, one thing that Korean Zombie does tend to do is get careless in there. You know, despite his martial arts background, he often just likes to plod forward and brawl with his opponents. You know, with a fighter as technically sound as Renato Moicano, that can be his undoing. However, in his last fight with Yair Rodriguez, one thing that I did see that I think a lot of people are disregarding because of the vicious knockout loss at the end of that last round, was that Korean Zombie was fighting a lot differently than he has in the past. He showed a big improvement in his boxing, whereas, instead of just plodding forward and throwing wild hooks, he stayed planted. He was looking for his openings, and once he found them, he would unleash a combo that, was fast, accurate, and precise, and had Yair stunned on a couple of occasions. In this fight, I see a much more patient Korean Zombie in there. Renato Moicano is going to have a sizable reach advantage. Yeah, we have seen that come to play where, Korean Zombie was fighting George Roop. George Roop circled around Korean Zombie, who was plodding forward, and, picked him apart from the outside and ended up getting that vicious head kick that took Korean Zombie out. Again, in Korean Zombie's last fight, he fought a very tall, very rangy Yair Rodriguez, and he was able to find his openings, get himself into the pocket to land those strikes, and then get himself right back out. In this fight, I see him coming forward. He's not going to backpedal, but he is going to come forward and slowly pressure Moicano. I don't see him brawling with Moicano. I think he's going to show what he showed us in the fight with Yair. He's going to look for his openings. He's going to throw those combinations and then get himself right back out. Moicano is going to be looking to use his range, as he always does. However, I think Zombie is going to be able to overwhelm him with the pressure, and he's going to be able to land the harder, faster, more effective strikes. I don't think Renato Moicano is going to be able to pick him apart from the outside, because, He is going to be backpedaling, but he doesn't use a lot of footwork in his fights. I think that's going to be his undoing in here as well. If Moicano does start feeling the pressure, he can go to the ground, try to take him down, use his size. However, Zombie has really good submissions off his back, and his transitions are good as well. So I do think Korean Zombie is going to be able to survive the ground game with Moicano. Now, I will say that I am a huge fan of Korean Zombie. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. So if any of you think I'm being biased or completely overlooking anything Moicano can bring to this fight, please let me know. But I just don't see him being able to handle the pressure of Korean Zombie. I think he's going to get overwhelmed in this fight. I'm really looking forward to this fight. Again, this is a big opportunity for Korean Zombie, one of my favorite fighters, to just completely get off of that loss to Yair and get right back into title contention. Again, everybody, thanks for watching.
The attackers can be stopped by removing the head or destroying the brain. I'll repeat that, by removing the head or destroying the brain.